There we go. Hello everybody, if you've just joined us. I apologise for the earlier stream. We were trying to get it to work and it wouldn't work. So here we are now. We now have the branch line working. We've repaired our pacer, the one that you can see sat in the screen now. And that's working well. And I've reduced the amount of trains coming through so that they have space to run. Hi Tim, welcome to the chat. Apologies there, I've been trying to set this up for about an hour. I couldn't seem to set it up, but we're here now. So I thought I'd live stream, done a little bit more scenic work, and I've got the branch line pacer working again. We replaced all the gearing in that. And with the sudden burst of subscribers, I thought a live stream was necessary. How are you today, Tim? That's good to hear. Almost finished the bridge. Oh yes, that's your lockdown project. I've been watching that. That's been great, that has. I wish I had one of those hot wire cutters that you've got. They look really handy. Unfortunately, I cut all my polystyrene with a little saw and it made a massive mess everywhere. Hi Ewan, thanks for joining. No worries Tim. Oh. I've reduced the amount of trains that come round one after the other as well. See, I was looking at those, Tim, the ones for 20 quid. I couldn't decide whether they were actually good or whether, you have to forgive me for saying it, whether the Chinese people just said they were good. But no, they do look good. If that's the one you got. Ewan, what have I been up to? Well, let's take this off the stand. I have done all of the paving over the bridge. I've done most of the paving down the side of the ramp. The pavement's there, the pavement's all along here is all done now. And I've done the pavement on the opposite side of the road all the way down the layout. So the pavement now stretches all the way down. And that's what I've been up to. I've reprogrammed the software a little bit so that we have less trains running at once. So that the trains have got enough time to stretch their legs when they're running around. See if I can get a nice shot there for you. I've got something to hold the camera up. No, that's in the way. There we are. I was watching another channel called Great Delton, and they've got some brand new camera equipment there, and it looks absolutely amazing. So now I've seen that and looked at mine, I think I have to get another camera. But we'll see to that in the new year, I think. The automation software, is it? It's handy. Tim says, how long is the layout? The layout is 14 feet long. This is at one end. There. And it goes right up to there. So you've got about 14 feet of paving along the layout, plus along the sides, which is 6 foot. There we are, our post has come back in again. That was the one we repaired earlier. I actually think I might increase the amount of trains running because it's a little bit sparse now. It's more realistic, but it's not as exciting. I think we're going to have to find a happy medium somewhere. Oh yes, I saw your new webcam, Ewan. That looked great, that did. I like that cam. Yeah, you can come round to me over here. I'll show you what I'm up to. How long is the layout? Oh, I've gone back to the messages all gone down. Ewan says, thanks, Carl. So what I'm doing right now, we're adjusting the waiting times in the fiddle yard. See there, 350 seconds to 430 seconds. We're going to reduce that a bit. And we're going to do that for a few of them. That was the pacer. Let's do it for the HSTs as well. That way they run more frequently. Oops, wrong one. That one. I'm not so happy of waiting for so many trains. We'll do it to the Great Western HST as well, on the fast inner. There we go, that should give us a bit more mainline running now. Oops, almost fell over. There you go. Carl says, can I run the train as if it was using the diesel and has to refill? Yes, I can. That is a function of iTrain, and you can have them scheduled to go into a refueling depot every so often. The default is every 40 hours of running time. It's scale running time. You set the clock and it will go and refill at certain intervals. It will take itself off of the route it's set to, go to the depot, sit there for a minute, then come back out again. Very, very clever. How is the screen quality, guys? Is it any good? We're trying a new settings in the software today, you see. Tim, it's like wiring up an old-fashioned block section layout for isolating sections. If you just believed every section was isolated, instead of running a switch to that isolating section, you run it to a feedback sensor instead. If you remember doing that with the old DC layouts, that's all it is. And then iTrain works out where the train is with those blocks of track. That's the basics of it anyway. Oh, Tim. When I get to 1,000 subscribers, which shouldn't be too long now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to reveal another layout. It's a DC layout that does have those switches on it. So we'll have a look at those then. The layout that I'm going to reveal is very small, but it's very convenient though, so we'll have a look at that later. Only another 70 subs to go and we can party. Oh, so yeah, a block section would be set up as a refueling area, and you would set it up as a siding on the software. You would just give it that name as a siding. If one of the you can zone different areas, you see, and it would know that was where to go then. Oh, here comes our Steam special. There goes our Steam special and our regional express. Oh, stopped actually. Didn't expect that. Oh, everyone's coming in to join now. Let's see what. So David says what you use for the point changing. I'm using DCC accessory decoders. The ones from DCC Concepts, the ADS ones, and I'm using Train Tech PC ones as well. And they're just linked to the computer, and the computer's changing them all for me. Oh, we've got 2 Tims now. Tim's training videos said he appreciates seeing a lot more N-gauge. I thank you for that. And thank you for watching our videos here. Sorry, the chat on the phone isn't showing me. I'm having to walk backwards and forwards between the phone and the computer to find out what you said. Thanks, Ewan. Thanks for, about the comment on the Class 70. I think that Class 70 used to be one of my worst runners until I took it apart and changed how the contacts were on the wheels and onto the chassis. I bent them a bit further and now it's the best runner I've got. So that seems to be a problem with those from the factory. Here comes our Premier train. I must say this is probably my favourite one, this one. The Welsh Premier train, the 67 with the Mark IIIs and the DVT. Stopped in on the branch line platform on the right there. Yeah, Tim was there. That's it, WAG Express. Exactly. And we have got a 57 going around with just one coach. We're pretending it's an ECS move because I don't have enough coaches. They're all on the HST. Evening, Steve. So if you missed the news, we've ordered a Pendolino. Revolution Trains have released another Pendolino, another order book open for them. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll have a 11 car Pendo. That's why my platforms were so long. They're designed for the Pendolino. They're 181 centimetres long and my platforms are 185 at the longest one. For some reason that pacer keeps going the wrong way. I have no idea why it's doing that. For some reason it's not changing direction. Yeah, that's it, exactly, Steve. Perfect. So I bought one Pendolino, I'm going to try and save up to get another one. I've got the full Avanti one on order, and I want to get the Virgin Flowing Silk one as well. They're both 11 car. Let's do a different view, shall we? Let's put you... Ooh, can we fit in there somewhere? Nope, camera won't hold up. No, we'll go over to this way. We'll go over here. We haven't been over here for a while. I'll go get the salt. Get rid of the rubbish. So I've just got rid of something called the I-train polarity. It's supposed to sense which direction the trains are going in. And it's only the ones that are on Railcom that are going the wrong direction. So I'm turning that off and we'll see if that's fixed it. Yeah, my wallet is getting a bashing. Luckily, I knew they were going to be announced a while ago. So, hence why I built the layout for them. So I was saving up beforehand for those, the Pendolinos. What's your pacer doing over on the Emerald Isle? Yeah, it's taking the rail sail, literally. So I was able to buy one pacer straight up as soon as they were announced, literally within the first 10 minutes of them announcing it. But I didn't expect the order book to be closed so quickly. They're going to close it January, February time. And I was expecting to have some time to save up for a second one, but we'll see what I can do. James, I know you hate the paces. Yeah, I can't wait to see you in this new railway room. Are you building a new layout in there, or are you moving the existing one? Also, another quick question, I think, for everybody this time. Do people prefer having less trains that run better, or more trains but sometimes get traffic jammed up? So I'm not sure what's better. It's more interesting sometimes when there are more trains, but then they don't get to run fast. What's for tea, Nick? Actually, I got back from Tesco. See the bag up there still from Tesco. I got steak, mushrooms and chips. Just because it was on the throw out section, so why not? Just going cheap, I'm all in. Ah, gotcha, you, and that's good. I was going to be very sad if that was getting broken up. Couldn't see that, couldn't bear to watch it. You see, the thing is with the running, I know earlier there was far too many trains coming through, and it was causing some slight problems. So what I did, I asked all the trains to wait longer in the fiddle yard. But now I think I've gone the other way and I've done too much waiting and not enough trains. So I'm just editing the wait times now to get a happy medium. Everyone's on their way over here. Brilliant. I would love it if you all came over here. I might get the layout finished, I tell you. There's so much to do. Yeah, exactly. I'll be very happy if you will come round and give us a hand. Yeah, that is right, though. A layout is never finished. I do agree with that. There's always something more you can do. No matter what someone says, if it's finished or not, it's never finished. Yeah, I should cook the steak on a shovel, that's it. Like they used to do the fry-ups. They cook their bacon and eggs on the shovel. Unless it got whipped off the shovel and out through the top there. That's it, everything's gone quiet now, you see. All of the trains have ended up in a wait time at the same time. It's all set to be random, but they've all converged together. I think you might get a lighthouse off eBay as well from one of the smaller sellers, the ones that 3D print the stuff. There could be some on there. Yeah, you can have all the food. You can all have steaks. For that, we've got a stop in HST and a stop in Pacer. We've got another Pacer up the other end just coming to the bay as well. We'll see if it goes out the right way this time. Big Zarg says, can we see some fiddle yard action? Of course you can. I'll pop you into the yard. Sometimes the fiddle yard's actually more interesting. Especially on this layout. There. I could do with more fiddle yard actually, if I'm honest with you. The bay platforms, sorry, the bay area over here for the branch line's only got 3 lanes. And I could possibly want to put another 2 in there. So I could run a cross-country Voyager down it as well, amongst other things. Maybe another, sorry, another local down it as well. Tim from Island Scenic says, Nick, why did you go with the computer system? I went with the computer system for a few reasons. There's a bit of a list of them. Number one, it's an exhibition layout, and the computerization is a big draw for people. It's very interesting to look at. Just imagine someone walking up to a layout and no one operating it, but the whole thing's working. So that'll give a big talking point. The second reason is because I'll be going to shows as a one-man operation. So if it was me operating this, number one, I'd have loads of smash-ups anyway, so I'm rubbish at it. And number two, I couldn't run the complexity that the computer can. I could probably run one of the main lines out of 4 of them without having an accident. But I'd require then another 3 operators to run the branch and the other 3 main lines, really, to get it to run properly. And a lot more equipment. So I'd need 3 to 4 more handheld controllers, and they're around about £90 each anyway, the Roco ones that I have. Or I could have just got the software and did that, so I did that instead, because I couldn't guarantee I'd have any operators with me at the exhibitions. With this I can still have operators, but to be fair, it runs brilliantly under automation now, and it's just a big talking point. And I've also made a section on the other end of the layout where I can place a large screen, and it shows off the computerized bit as well, like it's like you're looking inside a signal box control center. It looks like almost, and I think that'll give a lot of interest. Other reasons why I did it: I enjoyed it. I'd much rather sit back and watch the trains run rather than play with them and operate them. It's like having my own exhibition at home. And it's something that's not been done much, so those are really my reasons why I did it. What? A bloke at work was horrified I had peas with your steak. But that's how it is. That's what you have to have. With or without soot. Got to have lots of soot on your food. Oh, someone says, Heaven's Gremlin says, what's all that clacking sound? That's the points changing under the computer control. So the computer's changing all the points. In fact, in your screen there, you can see on the bottom right, when a train gets ready to go and the route's been set, you'll see them automatically change. Yeah, rule 2, have your steak as you like. I agree with that one. How's the canopies? The canopies that I got are finished. So I got 3 of them on the layout now, but I need another 6. But we'll be buying those after Christmas now. Heaven's Grand says, what software am I using? I'm using iTrain software. So iTrain software over train controller or anything else. It seems to be the best one for me. It's got the best support as well. Try doing peas on a shovel. Well, you can do mashed ones. Definitely do mashed peas. Could you imagine if they went up it? Just have loads of peas flying out onto, especially if you're in a platform at a station. Passengers wondering why the peas raining down. There must be some sort of practical joke associated with that. What else could you put in a firebox as a practical joke? Go up the chimney. Here. Yeah, see, mushy peas are good. Yeah, popcorn, that'd be a good one. I think I'd almost pay to see someone try and cook popcorn on a shovel. Somebody's gone wrong there with that one. There we go. Corridor connection had rode up. Get rid of that prick stick, shall we? And the phthalo glue. You can see what we're looking at there. Everything's gone quiet again. Everything's decided to stop. Everything is inside the fiddle yard now, so we've got a full up fiddle yard. So the ones on the locals, there's 2 blocks there, so you've got 2 trains per line. And the express ones, they've all got 2 blocks, but some of the trains are longer than the blocks, so they've only got 1 in each. Steve says, Nick, do you have a maintenance program for your stock? I'd imagine they cover a large amount of mileage. I do. Oh, what's happened there? iTrain tells me how far they've travelled. That going again. And when they get to a certain amount, the mileage colours up red, which means I should service them. So I do that. I'll take off the bogies and all the gearing inside, clean it off, and then re-oil it or re-grease it, whichever I've got at the time. Put it all back together. This, where's it gone? There's a cross-country Voyager all the way up there. on the second line. You can see it behind the blood and custard carriages. That's done over 160 kilometres now. It's done 100 miles. That's 100 real miles, not scale ones. So I'm just doing some changes to the software here to try and get that railcom to work better. This is the reason I'm going to install what do you call it, more detector units, because the wires are so long and running parallel that I think the signals are getting crossed over. Heaven's Gremlin says, what accessory decoders are you using? I have a mixture. I have the ADS 4SX, I have the ADS 2SX, I have the ADS 8SX from DCC Concepts. I also have the Train Tech PC4 and the Train Tech PC2. And they're all as good as each other really, apart from the DCC Concepts one. They actually control the frog polarity as well. Without any switches, it's all done internally. You just wire it up to the unit and it does it with the software, which is brilliant. It makes wiring points up an absolute doddle, especially as I've used mostly Unifrog ones. Chat to you later, Tim. Thanks for joining. I'm going to increase the frequency that the Voyager runs now. I'm not happy with how little it runs, but only a little bit. There we go, I've increased it now. Now when you get all that clicking, that's my Premier train crossing the junction. And then the fiddle yard setting after. So it's setting up a whole route with about 11 points. Hi Jacobs Railways, thanks for joining. Take care Steve, I'll see you later. There we go, so in the fiddle yard you can see the Voyager went out and the nuclear train's now shuffling up ready for its turn to go. And that would stop at the top of the fiddle yard. There we go, it's just stopped. Got our Premier train just crossing over in front of the Voyager. My favourite one again. And then here it comes, we've got the Voyager now coming in behind it to fill up the gap behind the nuclear train. Heaven's Gremlin. iTrain sell their software direct and they sell it through a vendor. The best vendor to go through is DCC Train Automation because the support is unreal. I think it costs the same amount of money and you can pay for it in sterling rather than euros. With DCC Train Automation, that company, For me, they've done it once or twice. They've actually remoted into my computer and changed some of the settings on my iTrain because I couldn't figure it out. They've actually done it for me. So if you're really, really, really stuck on something and you're very, very kind, they'll help you out. Obviously, they're not going to set up the whole file for you, but if there's something you've set up the whole thing and they can see that it's just one thing you're stuck on, or this odd little bit, they'll help you out with that. Whereas if you buy it direct from the vendor, you only get to rely on the forums, which you have access to anyway if you've got the software. So that's why I recommend going through DCC Automation. And I'm not paid by them either, I should mention that too. No discounts, no payments from them whatsoever. Hi Melvin, thanks for joining. How are you today? Oh, I've got a train stuck. That's odd, that's not happened before. Got stuck on the points, must be dirty. Let's clean them. That's it. That's that sorted. So the laptop and the stand you see there is now dedicated to this layout, it don't move. Luckily enough, the other day work were selling their old laptops off for charity for €100 each. So that's about £80, £85 odd. So I bought a laptop and a docking stand off of eBay for £20. And there we go, we've got a whole control unit now for £100. Take care, Ewan, thanks for joining, appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you in your next one actually. I look forward to seeing the shed done. Or the building even. It's not a shed, I keep calling it a shed, it's not a shed. Which version am I using, says Heaven's Gremlin? Well, I started off with iTrain 4 Plus, and just last month I upgraded to 5 Professional. The reason I'm using 5 Professional is I can network it on my different computers. And I can work on different laptops or different desktop and save to the main computer without having to be on it. So I haven't got to keep transferring the file around. And that's actually a very handy feature. It's got a lot more features as well, but that's the main one. And iTrain 5 allows you to set priorities of different trains as well. So my Premier train is set to the highest priority so I can get across the junction without having to wait an age. Whereas my local trains, like the Pacer here, they're set to the lowest priority, so they'll wait for everything. And my Steam Special, that's another one that's under high priority. Typically, I don't think signallers like to stop them in places because they might cause fires, that sort of thing. Yeah, there's a lot of versions. And versions that you're seeing, a lot of them are upgrades. So iTrain 4 to iTrain 5, or iTrain 5 Plus to iTrain 5 Premium. Not Premium, Professional. But there's only 4 different iTrain 5s, and that's the most recent edition. So there's iTrain 5 Lite, Standard, Plus and Professional. Lite is just a basic controller that you can operate off of a computer. Standard, you get the automation. Plus, you get additional screens, you can use more screens with it. And Professional has networking capabilities, so you can network it and use multiple computers at once on the same system. So if you have multiple controllers, like people using different computers, they can all control it. I remember you saying that actually, about the Pendolino. So you have seen one before. And you saw a similar train to my WAG in 2018. I can't think what that would be. I think the Pendolino was retired before then. That was Mark III and DVT drag up the West Coast main line, that used to be. Unless it was on diversion. So the Heart of Wales line was closed and they diverted it through Birmingham. There's that possibility if it was a weekend. There goes our London Midland, 350. Oh, yeah, okay. I wouldn't expect the young kids to remember it. There's lots of things when I was young on the railway that I remember seeing, but I couldn't tell you what they were. Like, it's only when I see pictures of things now from back then that I go, I've seen that before. I know what that is. The photo evidence as well. Yeah, exactly. Photos. There we go. I think I've got a happy medium of trains going around now. When I was young, the Heritage Line, everything was... Oh, when I went on train trips, the ones that I remember, there was the Alpha Line Wales and the West trains. I remember them. So they were in the Regional Railways colours still, but just branded. There was the blue Class 150s, the blue and light blue striped ones. And the 153s, I think, as well. And then the HSTs that I was travelling on were in the original Great Western livery. You'd see the Virgin trains going along. Some would still be all in intercity colours, and some would be in the new Virgin, well, what was new back then, the new Virgin corporate livery. And then there were some that were going along in a mixture. And I still remember seeing 47s hauling things, which was good. And there was one day I even got to go on a Class 47 hauling a train down to Penzance. All the way from Paddington, first Great Western one, with its Mark IIs. I think they phased it out that year, actually. I still remember Network South East. And the line I used to live on, it was the LTS lines. I remember all the LTS liveries. They were good then. Yeah, the Thunderbirds went to DRS. Most of them did. Now they're all named Pride of and then a station. Ones that went there. I still remember when LTS got the 317s as well, standing at peak times. That as a child always interested me because they were blue and green. I've never seen a blue and green train before. I was always interested to get on one, but when I got on one I didn't like it because the windows were too high. Compared to the old slam door stock. The slam door stock, the windows were lined up with the seats and a lot lower. Whereas the newer 317s, the windows didn't line up and the windows were too high for me to see out of. That's one thing about the old slam door stock. It was quicker to get on and off of, and the train would be off quicker than some of the modern stock with the doors at the ends. I do remember that, as long as everyone closed the door behind them, which mostly they did, they'd be taken off a lot quicker. Yes, slam doors. I love the sound of the slam doors. That's all the trains back in again. They're back in the fiddle yard. Nothing out the front. Big Zarg says he loves Engage. First was a Farish BR2 car back in about 1980. Never owned another Engage until 8 years ago. It's pure nostalgia that brought you back. It's a good time to come back into the hobby actually. Engage in the last, say, about 8 years actually has really improved. Especially the most recent stuff. Let me get that, when that Steam special gets back round, I'll show you it. Yeah, J94 says yes, he likes the Mark 1 coaches with the corridors. No, not because of Harry Potter. I remember back on, what was it, Connects, and they had the slam door stock there. They put bars across the window so you can put your head out. Yeah, this is not a cheap hobby, you do have to save for it really. So there goes the steam special that we have running, that's a class 4 MT tank. I got that one for 2 reasons. Or 3 actually. Yeah, 3 I'd say. Number 1, it used to run on the Tilbury line. Number 2, it's reserved, so I got an excuse to run it. And number 3, it was going cheap, and I really liked the model. So I got it. So this was sold as a non-runner, but I just want to show you the detailing on it, it's amazing. You can see there. Each of the wheels, you can see the spokes in the wheels. All of the piping is on it. This one's actually got real coal in the back of it. I think compared to before, they're absolutely amazing. If you look there, they're all spoked wheels, and they're not the deep ones either, they're the thin ones with the narrow flanges on. They're not the pizza cutter ones. I'm not even showing the camera, am I? There you go. See what I mean there? You can see the light coming through the wheels as well and everything. I just think they're far better. There we are. J94 says, I wasn't around when Mark 1s and Mark 2s were being used regular unless it was rail tours or heritage lines use. I wasn't around for Mark 1s for sure, but I did get on the Mark 2s, I say once to Penzance, and once I went to Norwich from Liverpool Street on the Mark 2s with Anglia Railways. But then Anglia Railways were one of the last operators to use them, so they actually used them quite late on. And I went there as a child as well, with my dad. And I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I miss those sound doors. And the sounds they made when everyone, the train was about to go. I can't think of any slam doors on the network now. I think the closest thing we got are Pacers with bus doors. I mean, you have to slam them sometimes. But it's only the driver's cabs now that have got slam doors. Yeah, when the slam doors were closing, it was time to run very quickly, about to miss your train. Yeah, they could actually be a departmental stock. There's nothing in passenger use, sir. But, well, you could count the Jacobite if that's still running. Sort of. You could almost sort of count that one. Do they have the DRS Mark II still running with the 37s, or have they got rid of them? I know they were on hire up in the northwest at some point. That Voyager, that Super Voyager, the Virgin one's my loudest unit going. Oh, that's interesting. They locked the doors, I didn't realise. That's alright, I have a BR carriage key still. Won't stop me. I used to check tickets on 317s going up to Stansted and back to London. And sell tickets on board that. Wow, that's some trip. Nowadays, so I'm in Ireland, sometimes I get the Sourvale ticket over to the UK. I get the ferry into Fishguard, get the train through Swansea and Carmarthen, all that lot, change either in Swansea or Port Talbot and get the train to London through that way, to Paddington. That's my favourite way to travel home. I mean, I like flying and all, but that's interesting, but it's nothing like a train ride. That's good, at least the windows still drop down. Ah. That's a shame. I remember when they had them on Anglia area, on Greater Anglia on hire, and you could get the windows all the way down when they had them there. They were on the lower stuff runs. But we run out of DMUs because one of them had an accident. Well, a few of them had accidents actually. And then the new trains didn't come in time. I think it's time for a new angle. You may watch from over here, I think. Yeah, we can watch from there. There I get to see the super elevation as the trains go around the corner now. And trains going over the junction. The closest I got to... Actually, I have been on train with corridor and compartments. It was in Germany, and they still run them. In fact, their ice trains have still got compartments on as well, the new ones. Yeah, comes a nice London Midland Express for you, around the curve. That'll look good. There you are. Must change that decoder in the back though, it's gone probably wrong. The lights always show white no matter where it goes. Hi Paul, thanks for joining. We're just having a little running session now. Goes our wag train over the junction. Slowed right down. So to get over the points. The Class 70, originally when it came from the factory, run awfully because the pickups weren't lined up properly. So I realigned the pickups and now it's one of my best runners, along with those Dapol 68s and the Farage Voyager. They're probably my best runners. And my HSTs. The HSTs are really good as well. Dapol HSTs. You're welcome, Zigzag. No problem at all. Yeah, so the Class 70, you've got to take the bogies off. Then you have to bend the brass contact strips down so that they make contact. Otherwise it runs awful. And it seems to be a really common problem. It's all over the forums. Yeah, look, a van as well. I got a van at McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah, no, they are very nice models though. Once that's done, I do recommend them. This one here was sold as a really poor runner. This 4MT going past. I just rebuilt it. Took it apart, cleaned it out, put it back together, oiled it, and it ran fine. You'll find that's a problem with a lot of them. You just get dirty and clogged up. Or the oil or the grease that's inside them gets old and expires. That's the Junction again going. So it must have the wag train coming back over. Oh no, it's the 150 that's coming out the branch and going down the local. Down the slow lines. See if I can peel you all back and you can watch the trains coming across the junction. I'll move the buildings out of the way. I think it'd be very interesting watching that. Be a good picture if you're higher up or over the tracks actually. I wonder if I can manage that for you. We'll make a temporary bridge out of train boxes, how about that? And we'll stick you there over the junction. You watch everything then. Put the buildings back in their place now. Yeah, I used to do this as a kid, have the temporary bridge. But it's giving you a great view of the junction now. I've never actually shown this to you before live, or on any video, so this would be interesting when the train comes across the junction. I'll tell you what I used to do. I used to get I had double O gauge, and I'd get the VHS boxes from the videotapes, with the video still in, and make bridges and tunnels out of those. That was always a good one. One point I did a whole loop inside a tunnel and it had like a side bit that was open and it was like the underground. That's it, train spotting bridge, that one, yeah. The WAG train, the Premier train's on its way again. It's got to stop at the platform, then it'll come out. Just interesting to see, really. The HST's managed to get there first. Then the WAG train probably follow that. Yeah, that was all the points, so I guess that's the WAG train on its way out. You get to see that go across the junction now. So that one runs right out onto the outside line there. Hello Ben, thank you for joining and thank you for subscribing, new to the channel, I really appreciate that. To answer your questions, how much the software you use costs? It depends on the level of complexity one that you buy. There's 4 different levels of this software iTrain. I believe the one that I bought was €349. But there are a lot cheaper versions than that out as well. I just have the top version because I'm using it across multiple computers. So I can control from different computers all at once. So if I've got friends coming over that want to play trains, we can use different computers to control the trains. How does it know where the trains are? If you remember the old DC layouts where they had isolating sections and you could turn on and off the power with the switch. Well, we still have the brakes in the track like those sections, but instead of being wired up to a switch, they're permanently on DCC, and they're wired into a feedback sensor. And then the computer knows exactly where they are because it's reporting back from that piece of track through the feedback sensor, which are all individually numbered, to the computer, and the computer then knows which one it's in. Very simple. I do have a 66, this 66 here. It's one of the original ones from Dapol, so it runs like rubbish. Which is why I don't use it. That one I have rebuilt. I have cleaned it all out and it still runs like rubbish, so I'm not quite sure what happened to that. It's the only one that I have, loco-wise, that I rebuilt and doesn't work still. And I've done quite a lot now. Yeah, Farish 66s are much better in my opinion, but you have to hardwire those ones. If you can do it, then do it with them. I haven't got that far yet. But the Dapol ones, I don't really think they're that great. Luckily, I only picked that up for about a tenner, that one. It was going cheap at an exhibition in a box with loads, like a big cardboard box with loads of rubbish in it. It does run, but you can't stop it, otherwise it don't start. Ben, yes, I am planning to do more with scenery. I'll show you what I've been up to actually. Oh, if I can move. I put down all of the pavement all the way down the layout here. I put the pavement down up the ramp. I filled that section with some more tarmac. Got to sort this out with a bit of grey paint. Bit of tarmac to go in there. I'll glue that all down. I put pavement across the bridge now. Pavemented all the way along. So the scenery on this end is coming along a bit better, but that's because it's close to my computer, so I always end up doing this one up this end. There's a load more scenery to go though. You just haven't got to it. Done the buildings, done the overbridge. I need more canopies. I need 6 more of those. They've got to go all the way down the platform to here. Station building's good. And that piece of paper there, that's what I'm going to line the plinthy thing that it's on. It's actually raised up. I want to make it like a plaza. So I'm going to paint that in concrete grey before I put that down. See, I've got an Audi. Every modern image layout needs an Audi. And I've got a McDonald's, and we've got a retail park. So as it's a parkway station, it's parkway stations typically are on the edge of towns. On the edge of the towns you get town ring roads like what we've got going around the edge, and you get the retail parks because the land is cheaper. So we tried to emulate that up this end of the layout, and the other end of the layout, as you can see, is the town. And you can see the bus station area on top. That's the beginnings of like the town scene. Thanks to Heritage Line, I appreciate it. For the retail park, I'm going to get some of those really tall lampposts, the only ones they have in retail parks. I'm going to put those in there as well, so that'll really set that off. But we won't be doing that until most of the scenic work is complete, because I'm very good at knocking things off if I lean over them. Yeah, Farish 66s are much better than the Dapple ones for sure. 100% better. J94 asks, where would you say the layout is based on? Good question. The influence on this layout comes from the West Coast Main Line and the Great Western Line Main Line. So I'd like to say it's in the triangle between like Birmingham, Cardiff and Bristol. I don't really have a set area, but it just reminds me of that. That's what I'm sort of mimicking. And the retail park areas, they're sort of based on the car journeys I do back and forth to the UK. And near Patchway, there's retail parks that sort of look like that, so I made one of them. I exhibited a different layout at Dornbury Model Railway Club at their show, just outside of Bristol. And that gave me a lot of inspiration actually for this layout, because there was a layout showing there that I based the idea for this off of, but it was a completely different layout. But they had a nice 4-track main line on it and a branch up the other end, and I just had to do something similar to that. Once I'd sat there for a weekend watching that run opposite, I didn't like my own layout anymore. Dapole 68, no issues. Though I did buy one second hand, and there's a split gear in that one, but I got the replacement for it. But I got the train at the right price, so it's not a problem. The only problem I find with the 68s that I see reported regularly, it's not mechanical, it's the buffers come off all the time. So you might need to get a small dab of glue and glue the buffers on if they come off. That seems to be the main complaint. Ben, yes, there are some videos of the software and what it does and how, well, not how it's set up, it just shows you what it's doing and the basics of it. There's another channel out there, I can't remember the channel name though. Maybe someone can remind me, but there's a series of videos that show you how to set up the software, videos literally 1 to 10. And they're really, really, really good. and absolutely worth watching. If you're doing eye strain, that would be the first place to start. That's it, Bob Fuller. Thank you very much for Heritage Line, that's exactly right. Bob Fuller is the one to go visit his channel. His channel name is Bob Fuller. And he's got a whole series of how to set up the software. I wish his series would have been out when I went to set mine up. But I had to learn the hard way, I'm afraid. Trial and error till I got it right. Thanks Ben, I appreciate it. The community here is brilliant. Sort of goes with the channel name really. Rule 1 model railways. Rule 1 means it's your model, you have it how you like. Just enjoy it. So, I suppose people watching Rule 1 all agree with that. I hope they do. Yeah, Big Sarg. Collett models are actually very good. They're a great little shop down in Exmouth to purchase from. I'd agree with that. That's what Rule 1's all about. Rule 1, they say, in the model railway world, there's only one rule. It's my layout and I run it how I like and how I wish and have it look like how I want it to. Face it your way, your rules. And if you don't know, if you think there's any other rules, it's refer back to Rule 1. If you have any other questions. But that's the community spirit I want to have, like everybody, all modelling is good modelling, as Elvenholm put it the other day. There you go, there's a 68. Here's the other 68 I've got. Very nice. I picked that one up for £90 the other day, second hand. And the other one I picked up for £60 because it had split gears and the buffers have fell off, but I'm going to glue those old buffers back on. And the split gear, the unit for that was £12, and I'm going to replace the whole bogie bit. It requires soldering, so that'll be quite a job. But I think it will go alright. With that Trans Pennine Express 68 one, I've got the Mark 5 coaches on order from Revolution Trains to complete that. So I can't wait for them to be delivered. They're for next year, I think middle of next year. Zaf says he had so much trouble getting a DRS second brake standard open even. I got really lucky. I found someone that was selling them second hand again, and I bought that off of them, and I bought the Aviva Trains Wales set, the Class 68 Mark III DVT set, the WAG train. I was incredibly happy with that purchase. I've never seen a 68 for sale again, not 60, 67 sorry, 67 Wales set again, you see. I think quite possibly that's the rarest set I have. Hi James Pets, thanks for joining. Rule 1, peas with steak, yep. And mushrooms, gotta have mushrooms too. Ooh. Ben, it doesn't look good. It will look good one day, but not yet. We're getting there. So far I'm working on the operational side of it still. Right now. Something that's giving the illusion of looking good is my corners are super elevated. That means the track tilts, just like the real thing. And in the real world they do that so that the forces are distributed evenly across the tracks so they don't wear out one more than the other, so the outside rail would wear out quicker than the inside. You'll see it as the HST go around, it tilts slightly. And then the flowing curves, I enjoyed doing those. I think they look good. But again, anyone can do that if they got the space. They're not difficult. Ah yeah, you see when I got mine new, they came with DCC chips installed as well, which was handy. So that made them worth it at £90. If they'd been £90 and without chips, I'd have said no. Here comes our Steam special. That one was £90 with a chip in it, but it was sold as a 4-runner, so I just rebuilt that and it works fine. And that's got a real coal in the coal bunker. You should be weathering, you say, yeah. Now my track I'm going to be keeping clean. I want it to have that freshly laid look. Because it's I'm trying to depict like a mainline modern image primary route, so I just want it to all look fresh, like it was done recently. I'm making some progress. Now the automation is sorted. I haven't actually touched any of these trains running for the past hour now. So that's good. Now I can focus on the scenery. And I have some electronics work to do up at the fiddle yard at the other end, because some of my railcom signals are getting confused with each other. Because the wires are all intertwined, the signals like transferring between wires even though they're not. The metal bits aren't even touching together, they're insulated. So I need to sort that out. I've got another couple of units to go underneath there to add more feedbacks instead of running wires a long distance. Oh, I saw that, Martin. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Every new subscriber is a boost to me, so thank you very much. How I did what on Engage? There's nothing too clever on this layout, scenery-wise or the building-wise. It's all fairly basic. Big Zard says vodka. Where's the vodka? I want the vodka. Show me the vodka. Yeah, the repaired pacer of doom. I have 2 pacers. You'll get there soon, James. Ben asks, can you automate the signals with iTrain as well? Yes, you can. In fact, they've just released all the British signalling, what's the word for it? The software that works with British signalling, the way the signalling works, basically. And I've already got a couple of CR signals. They're 4-aspect ones, which would be ideal for this main line. And my train works with the 4-aspect and feathers, so I'll be setting them up eventually in the future. That is something in the pipeline. 100% will be done. All of the signals will work, and they will work prototypically, and they'll all be automatic. I won't have to think about it either. James, I haven't done a video on the wiring scheme, but I have done a video of the underside of the layout. So if you only want to look at the underside of the layout, in fact, let's have a brief look now. This is going to look ugly at first, but bear with me. Control unit there, booster unit there. This is my control board. Oh, and underneath, this is all my systems. So that's a feedback unit with all the wires all done up together. I haven't chopped these off yet. I should, but I haven't. And I've used the conduit to route the cabling so it's more resilient when I'm transporting it. Some of this cabling I redid the other day for more reliability, and I've got to put that inside the conduit. But you can see there it all goes along. These ones unplug for transport, but they just go through the rings. They're my loco net cables. And then you've got my points decoders. These are my point decoders. They go straight to the point motors, just like that. And they control the polarity as well as the tracks. But it's coming along. And at my baseboard joins, we're using computer DB9 sockets into breakouts. So they're fairly basic. You can get loads of those ordered in. Oh, and I'm using these as well. These stop the power draw being too great for the system from the capacitors inside that. So when the point flicks, it charges up a lot slower, so that it don't short. Well, that won't short the system out, but it will think there's a short circuit because it's drawing too much power. I'll put you back over there. Yeah, in the kitchen. Well, actually, I live on my own, so I could have a. This is a open plan kitchen living room, so I could either have that, or I could have a model railway room, and I chose what I wanted. The layout is portable though. It all comes apart in 4-foot by 2-foot boards for transportation to exhibitions and things. So if I want to put it away, I can put it away on the shelving rack that I've got. And it goes down into a little block of 4-foot by 3-foot by 2-foot. It all folds down into that. The layout itself is 14 feet long by 6 foot wide, of 8 boards. 8 4-foot by 2-foot boards. So if you could imagine how that works, you've got like an end and then a length of board at each end of the layout, so that gives you a 6 foot. It's sort of an overlapping system, the way they all go up together. Like when you put a coal box together at the bottom, you put one, then the other, all the way around it. For want of a better way to explain, that's an awful way to explain it. Roughly about that size, James, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more underneath going on than there is on top. So each block of track, the tracks have got feedbacks. So there'll be 1, 2, 3 feedbacks. There'll be motor, 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 motor. 3 wires going from the motors to the thingy, the DCC accessory, thingy that controls them. And then that will also have a wire going to each of the frogs to control the polarity on the frogs. And then you'll have all your feedbacks going down here as well. So there'll be 3 on that one, 3 on that one, 4 on that one. So there is a lot of wiring involved, but it's worth it. Once it's all in, it's in, you don't look at it anymore. And now we've come up on a moment where all the trains have stopped together at once. This happens every now and then. All the trains are set automatically to have like a random amount of time they will stop in the fiddle yard between a certain amount of seconds. So say 200 seconds to 300 seconds, it will stop there and it'll pick a value in between 200 and 300 seconds. But they've all stopped at the same time now. I'm not making a comment on that.
Sorry, I don't know that, but I do have a skill you might like. It's called bird. Wanna try it?
No, Alexa, I don't want to try that.
Sorry, I don't know that, but I do have a skill you might like. It's called bird.
Alexa,
Wanna
shut up. Silly Alexa. There we go, there goes our premier train across the junction again. As you can see, all the other trains have waited for it. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what, it's a pain in the backside, that Alexa, when something comes on TV and someone's called Alexa and then suddenly it just starts doing all different things. There was a South Park episode based around Alexa, and it was giving the units all different commands. I'll let you find out what they were, but they were brilliant. It loaded up a load of things into my shopping basket and everything. Yeah, so that was the nuclear train. The nuclear train carries spent nuclear fuel for the nuclear submarines, for their reactors. And it takes it to the processing plants. There's one in Scotland, and I think one in Sellafield. Yeah, James, exactly. Take her in for a walk hourly, yeah. The thing is, James, it would actually do that. If I asked it to remind me to take the penguin for a walk hourly, it would do that. And every hour I get a reminder. This is your reminder. Take your penguin for a walk. Yeah. There goes our Steam Special. That's the rarest train on the layout, that one. That only goes every 10 or so minutes. Being a Steam Special and an exhibition layout, sort of timed the amount of time I reckon someone would stand there watching the layout. So I'd only see that go around once, like a real Steam Special. Oh, that's a good prank though. James, your approval is noted. I have 3 Steam locos, so I'll show you the other 2. So I have City of Birmingham, which I bought at Glasgow Model Rail Scotland. Ironic considering I go to Worley every year. That's there. And I have a standard 5 here. And that one I got second hand again as well. That was 195, I think, with a DCC decoder fitted, second hand. Sold as a poor runner. The reason it was a poor runner, it was missing a traction tyre, so I bought a bag of traction tyres, took the rods off, fitted the tyres, and now it runs perfectly. It's not wonky because it's got one wheel slightly bigger than the other. And one of the handrails had come off, so I just glued it back on. You can't even see that I glued it now, it was the one right up here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much invisible, the glue on that. I used that Fowler Plastics one, the Expert, it's brilliant stuff. But now that runs faultlessly as well. Oh, view change, is it? We'll have a view change then. I'll turn you around. How about that? How much the Freightliner set me back? I think it was about £75 in the end, and that was from Glasgow exhibition, that one. Picked that up last year, the 2019 show. And again, that was second hand. For the platform automation announcements, sorry, they can actually be automated as well. I just haven't got around to figuring that bit out yet. But iTrain will do that from the computer to a speaker that's on the layout. That's it. You could do it with computer speakers as well. I suppose I could wire some a Bluetooth speaker underneath the layout there. Actually, that would really work. A Bluetooth speaker under the layout, and iTrain activate some files as the trains go by over the certain blocks. That's something I could easily do. Couple of locos, a bit of track. That's where I started. When I get to that 1,000 subscribers, I'll show you that layout. Paul, I've got a kitchen living room in one. Yes, it is. Permanently in here. Well, I say permanently. It's transportable. It folds down into much smaller balls. It can be put away. It's designed to go to exhibitions, so. Thanks, Big Sarg. Yeah, me too about curving the platforms. It's an incredible amount of work, unless you do it the way I did it. I've got some videos that will show you how I did it. I've used the Pico platform edging. I heat it up in boiling water, and I just curve it to the curvature of the track, and then run a train along the edge of it. If it's correct, I leave it. If it's not correct, I bend it a little more until it sets. And that actually provides a nice smooth curve around the corners. For my platform surfaces, I've put inside the platforms wooden, what is it, you know, the beams, the timber. That's inside the platforms as a filler, and then I've used actual filler on top of that and then smoothed it out and painted it. And that's what's given me the curved platforms with, it's a lot easier to do this way. Yeah, that Voyager, the one that's just parked up the end now, at the top of the platform, that's the loudest thing I've ever owned, loco-wise. I got that for one of my birthday presents as a child. It's something I really wanted. Didn't expect it to be as loud as it was. And it was always a pig, actually. It didn't run out the box. The front carriage, the PCB in there for the DCC, actually short circuits the whole layout, so I had to remove it. So we've got no lights in the front at the moment, but I have a replacement PCB that I ordered last month. So that's what's that, 12 to 15 years ago, I don't know how long it was now, since I bought it. I've got a replacement PCB, and I'm going to install that later on, maybe this month. And we'll get them lights working again. The problem with those Super Voyagers that Dapol released is they need 3 decoders. The motor's in the middle, and then the lights at either end are very expensive to make digital. Load of trains coming through the platforms now. So it looks like our HFT is stopping this one. Got our through freight train. Another HFT coming along that looks like it's not stopping. So the HFTs are programmed to stop randomly about 10% of the time. So it's like a limited stop service There are only a couple of trains a day. It's to like emulate that sort of service. And then on the local lines, the London Midland regional train is programmed to stop only, I think it's a quarter of the time, 25% of the time. The 57 that's going through now never stops because it's an ECS move. And all of the local trains stop. And on the branch line they all stop. As it's an interchange. Oh, thanks Zach, I appreciate it, yeah. Now I do like that green. The green looks a lot better in the daylight though, compared to the light, the light that's in here. Looks much better when I go to exhibitions and they're in nice airy sort of roof lighted rooms. Yeah, the 57s are not bad runners actually. Mine's a lovely runner too. That 57 is one of the least, probably the least fussy train I got with regards to having to poke it to get it to move. I don't think I've ever had to do that in the past couple of months. It just goes. There goes our steam special again. Steam special never stops either. Patchway, yeah. I was staying in an Airbnb in Patchway when I was showing at the Thornbury show. I showed a different layout, Western Town. I've since broken that one down and used all of its hardware for this. Western Town was the precursor to this layout, testing out how the computer control worked. I didn't do a very good job of it, and it was a very rough layout. Built for speed so that I could get it all working. So obviously I broke that one down, and we did this one. But yeah, I was staying in Patchway. I got very ill off of the takeaway there. I enjoy taking the train through Patchway on the sail rail trains to through Wales to Ireland. That as well. And the Toby Carvery in Patchway is brilliant. I made sure I visited that. There goes your nuclear train again. My DRS 68, it's one of my favourites. Oh, the road markings, I cheated. I printed them. They're all out of a printer. Now you see where the coach is parked up, that's going to be my small sort of taxi drop off and pick up area and bus stop area. I got that one, that coach is there for when the trains aren't running. I call it my rail replacement coach. So those road scenics are from Scale Scenery. You just download the file on the internet, you pay a small fee. It's very cheap, you can print out as much as you like. I bought one of those printers where they got the big ink tanks in, so it's very cheap to print out a lot of stuff. So that's what we're doing here, and then we're treating it with the spray protector so it doesn't, the ink doesn't run. So Scale Scenery, S-C-A-L-E, Scenery. And you can download a trial kit off of them as well. You can test it out and see what you think. I haven't made any kits from them. I've just built from scratch or used Metcalf kits. I prefer to use Metcalf kits if possible. They're a lot easier to build and I think they come out better. My skill level is not that good. You're welcome, Ben, no problem. Anything you want to know about, Ben, just give me a shout and I'll let you know. And I'll do my best to point you in the right direction if I don't. Ben, absolutely, Metcalf kits are amazing. Those station canopies you see there are Metcalf. They're a new kit of theirs. I have the retaining walls from them and I have a tunnel entrance from them. I say tunnel entrance, I'll show you it. We'll go around the layout. That there is actually a bridge, it's supposed to be. But I've kit bashed it and made it into a tunnel entrance instead. Got to fill up that corner with something, yeah, it don't look so pretty. But I'll figure that out later. And you can see the retaining walls I've used, they're also Metcalf. Very easy and very, very strong as well. They're all glued together. I've done the bridge over here myself. It's just my own scale model scenery print out and put it up. I need to add some additional detail to that, like some columns or something to make it look more structural rather than just printed paper. Same along here. Need to add some more columns down it. It's our station car park, that's printed out from scale model scenery. This is all printed out from scale model scenery. All of that. That's scale model scenery printed out. That's the concrete ground. They've got brick paper as well, so I've used that as cobble. That was off of eBay. That's a kit you can buy. There's loads of different stuff. These are Metcalf, the warehouses. These are from a Canadian company. I can't remember what company they were from. Oh, that one isn't, sorry. That one's a British company that made that kit. These ones are Canadian. They're actually American buildings, but I think they look fine. Obviously they're not where they're going to be. I've got to put some more buildings on them. That's a Fala kit. That one, that's the Fala Horham station building. That's the Fala Aldi supermarket, modern supermarket, and I think Gauge Master are doing that now. This is Metcalf. These are all eBay purchases, eBay kits that I bought. I had them specially scale these down from 00 gauge to N gauge for me and print them. Incredibly fiddly to make, but really worth it in the end, as they weren't designed for N gauge, but I really enjoyed those. And obviously a McDonald's. Every retail park got a McDonald's. That was an eBay purchase. And that's all of my kits. Yes, a tree is a great idea. I will plant a tree there. Good job. Yeah, for hills I've also used the plaster bandage. I've used polystyrene foam boards. You know, the pink variety. I cut them out and then I plaster bandaged over them. They're solid now. And they're really, really strong. And the advantage you have over those over paper mache is that when you glue stuff to them, it glues really, really well. And you can paint them really well as well. I painted mine like a reddish earthy grey. I'll show you over here. You can see that there, the colour that I painted underneath, so even the bits where the scenery hasn't stuck on, it just looks like it's bare earth. It doesn't look bad if you can see through it. If you don't paint it first, you'll because you'll have loads of white bits showing through and it'll look bad. Thanks, James, I appreciate it about the shops. And Disabled Bay Park. I used to work in a retail park in a shop called Halfords. I've got a model of Halfords now, so I was a cycle technician. I used to fix the bikes, and then I was the head technician for Ireland at one point. I got really good at it, and was leading a team. But I didn't want to be a technician. I was just good at it and didn't like it, unfortunately. So I built the retail park on my own experience of retail parks. Did that, and then visiting Patchway as well. That's exactly correct. You solder to the PCB, there should be like 6 bits N gauge, there should be 6 wires and 6 contact points. The instructions should tell you which one to solder to in the loco and on the DCC box as well. You'll need a very, very fine tip soldering iron and some fine solder, or try to use as very little as possible of the solder. Try and use the old-fashioned solder as well, not the stuff with the core in it, just the old lead stuff, much better. And use some flux, just to tin it first before you solder it if you can, that is, if it's not too fine. And your soldering iron, you want a nice soldering iron that you can adjust the temperature, so you're not melting everything. That's what I use here. Yeah, go visit the Heritage Line. That'd be a great video to watch, that one. That's exactly what I had in my mind, actually, soldering on a Class 66 with the tabs on the top. Right, everybody, I've been on for 2 hours now, and at this point, well, actually 2.5 hours. I'm going to call it an evening now, so I have to cook my dinner before I go to bed. So I'll leave you just for another 2 or 3 minutes. We can all say goodbye to each other, and I will see you in the next one. And Zaf, you're very welcome, that's no problem at all. Like I say to everybody, any questions whatsoever, give us a shout and I'll do my best. Thanks, Pete, appreciate it. Thanks, Heritage Line. Thanks, Ben, much appreciated. Thank you for your subscription tonight. I hope I make a lot more stuff that you enjoy in the future. Good luck, Zaf. You're going to need it now. Bye, all.